Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a kind of quick video, but I wanted to talk about a recent interview that I did. Some of you guys saw that I recently did an interview with the African Diaspora News channel. So I was very surprised to hear from them. They reached out to me and asked to interview me. I had come across their content before, but I didn't realize like how big their channel actually was. So I was surprised that they found, little old me with just, 2K subscribers, and that they asked to interview me. So I guess they had watched a few of my videos and they liked what they saw, and so they asked for me to come on to speak about the I guess Black experience as a Latina, but it was more focused on like Dominicans. So I went on there, did the interview. I guess the owner of the channel, Phil, he was very nice. I had a good time during the interview. Definitely no complaints there. Now, just to keep it totally honest with you guys, I was a little nervous prior to doing this interview because my initial thought was, oh man, this is going to be and I mean this in the most non-offensive way possible. But I was like, this is gonna be a lot of Black people watching me. Yeah. And I already know how a lot of people within the pro-Black, Pan-African, Afrocentric circles view Dominicans, okay? So I already knew people were going to be super critical of anything that I said. Okay, like I went in there knowing that was going to happen. And it's also funny because for those of you that saw the interview, a few of you reached out to me and was like, hey, I saw the interview that you did. I was wearing a blonde wig that day. And see, this is why I need to follow my gut instincts, because something told me, take off this wig. Because some of these people are going to look at the color of this wig and be like, see, self-hating, she wanna be white and all that. Look at her with this blonde hair. Okay, I knew it was gonna happen, but I was like, you know what, F it. I don't feel like taking this wig off. My hair was looking a mess that day. I didn't feel like switching to another one, so I just kept it on, and lo and behold, those comments were there. So a lot of this interview was centered around how Dominicans view their Blackness, and we looked at it from like, a historical perspective. I gave the same explanation that I've given on my channel before as to why historically you saw that a lot of the African descent people in Santo Domingo took on the Spanish identity, okay? And why even to this day you do see that a lot of Dominicans identify more with being, Spanish, Hispanic, whatever, versus being African. So, we got into all that, and we got into like how Dominicans view Europeans versus how they view other groups of Black people. We got into how Dominicans identify when it comes to race. And, of course, we got into the topic of Haitians, because you can't have a conversation about Dominicans without Haitians being brought up. So as far as the response that interview got, I can't really say that I was surprised. And to an extent, I can't blame certain people for the negative image that they have of Dominicans, because, we've had our share of bad apples. We've had our racist, anti-Black Dominicans that have made their voices known. They can be very loud at times. So, and they see this, so I can't blame them for thinking the way that they do. But apparently quite a few people thought that I was too soft with my answers, that I was sugarcoating stuff, and that I wasn't being genuine. Okay, now as far as me not going hard enough with my answers, okay, I'll give people that, sure, why not? Y'all already know how I do on my channel. I never really go hard like that on certain topics, because I try to be as open-minded and in some cases neutral, which I know some of y'all don't like me being neutral on some shit, but whatever. Because I don't like to come off like I'm trying to force my opinion onto people. Like, I share my thoughts, but at the same time I try to be open to other people's thoughts. Okay, that's just how I am. That is my personality. All right, so that's how I come off. So if they want to say I was being too soft, hey, that's fine. But what really bothers me is people saying that I wasn't being genuine. Okay, those are the type of comments that low-key kind of piss me off. Because, and honestly, this is why sometimes I don't even want to have these conversations at times when it comes to colorism and racism, because I can't speak on these things from first-hand experience. Okay, my experience as a Dominican or as a darker skinned Dominican doesn't fit the popular narrative that people like to push when it comes to Dominicans, because according to some people, we're just all delusional, self-hating, anti-black, anti-Haitian, wanna be white, worship white people Dominicans. That's what we are to some people. And when I say, hey, I didn't really grow up experiencing colorism like that, or hey, I didn't experience my family talking all this anti-black shit or talking all this crap about Haitians, people take that as I'm not being genuine, and that really bugs me. Because see, I'm the type of person, like, I have been very vocal on my channel about the fact that I don't like to generalize. I do not like to generalize other groups of people. But for some reason, people feel like it's totally okay to generalize Dominicans and to paint us all with one brush. Now, for those of you that have been listening to me for a while, y'all know that I have never denied that racism exists in DR, colorism exists in DR. I think we definitely deal with a lot of featureism in DR, most definitely. And I haven't denied that there are Dominicans that just don't like Haitians. Like, that most definitely exists. I have never ever denied that. But people act like that is the case for everyone. And when I say, yo, not all Dominicans are racist, not all Dominicans are anti-black, not all Dominicans deny their African ancestry, then I'm not being genuine, or I'm trying to sugarcoat shit. Like, that stuff, it annoys me so much. And it's like, why do people love pushing these one-sided narratives? Why can't we be able to look at people individually? And, you know, and I get it that there was a lot of, like, you know, psychological stuff that, you know, the African descent people in DR went through, that yes, it did lead to a lot of them identifying more with being Hispanic than being African. Like, I get it. But that's not the case for everyone. I mean, y'all have seen the people in my family. I have a lot of pretty dark-skinned people in my family, and I have never heard any one of them deny that they're black, like, ever. Okay? And I have told y'all many times, my family has always called me Morena. Okay? I've told y'all my mom's nickname for me is literally Negra. A lot of people call me Negra. Like, there's no, I just didn't grow up seeing all this denial of who we are or our color. And even though, like I've said, my parents didn't really talk about race like that, at the same time, I just didn't grow up hearing that, I don't know, we should aspire to whiteness, even if it was just from a, like, physical perspective. Like, that wasn't my life. Okay? And my family is pretty big. Okay? My mom alone has 22 siblings. And I didn't hear that from them. I didn't hear from my dad's side of the family. So am I just supposed to act like my family is the exception and every other Dominican is self-hating and anti-black? Like, I don't get it. And then when it comes to the subject of Haitians, that's another subject that sometimes I don't even want to go there, because at the end of the day, I'm not living in DR. I can't speak on that from first-hand experience. I can't speak on it from the experience of someone that's actually living there, whether they be Dominican or Haitian, and give, you know, the best insight on that. Like, I can't. Again, even when it comes to our historical struggles or whatever with Haiti, people like to look at it very much from one side. People always, no matter what it is, villainize Dominicans, make Dominicans to be the bad guys, can't look at things objectively and say, hey, I as a Dominican have no problem admitting there have been Dominicans and leaders throughout history that did some fucked up shit to Haitians. Like, I have no problem at all admitting that. But for some reason, people don't like to see that, hey, there's two sides to a story. Maybe there was some shit that Haitians did too to Dominicans that Dominicans are not very happy about. Just saying. Okay, or even with the current situation with the illegal immigration of Haitians into the country. Like, again, I as a Dominican can admit, a lot of these Haitians are brought in by Dominicans to the country. A lot of these Haitians are doing the jobs that Dominicans don't want to do. Okay, they're just trying to live their life and make money and feed their families. Like, I totally get that. I have no problem admitting that. But at the same time, people don't want to see that, hey, maybe there's another side to all this. People don't want to talk about the crimes and stuff that Haitians commit on Dominican soil. People don't want to talk about Dominicans that have been murdered by Haitians, again, on their own soil. And this is the thing, that all of the things that have transpired between Haitians and Dominicans have happened on Dominican soil. So yes, some Dominicans are going to feel a way about it. Now, do I think that because of that, we should now dislike Haitians and hate Haitians and paint all of them with broom brush and say that they're all this way and that way? Absolutely not. I don't believe that we should do that. I don't believe in generalizing Haitians or painting them all to be these bad people or whatever. But why do people feel like it's okay to do that to Dominicans? If I'm going to give you the respect and look at you and judge you as an individual and as a group, then just give my people the same opportunity, That's all I ask. The other thing that I mentioned under a comment is that these conversations, a lot of other groups of African descent people, they've been had these conversations, but Dominicans are now just starting to really talk about our African ancestry and, exploring that side of our identity. Like, Dominicans have always known that, yes, part of our ancestry is African, but I don't think we had really gone into depth, like exploring that side of ourselves as much as we have in more recent years. I kind of feel like, cut us some slack, okay? Like, we got to start somewhere. And it's not easy. It is not easy as a Dominican speaking on these type of things, because it's like we get it from both sides. I'm either going to get Dominicans saying that I'm brainwashed and that I'm too pro-black, or I'm going to get black people saying that I'm not being honest enough and that I'm trying to play both sides and all this other shit. Like, sometimes I feel like there's just no way to win having this conversation as a Dominican, because we have been made to be the scapegoat for anti-blackness in the Latin community, which I feel is unfair, because anti-blackness exists literally everywhere. But people look at us. People want to only point the fingers and blame us for all this shit. And it's like, come on, y'all. Like, can we stop with the generalizations? I guess I just wish that people would learn to be more open-minded and understand that while we all experience similar things, such as, we all experienced colonization and slavery and stuff like that, like, our histories didn't all play out exactly the same. And our societies didn't all form the same. And not just that, but the way in which people identify when it comes to race, it's not the same. I think we should, if we're going to try to have these conversations and connect with other people, particularly within the African diaspora, then I think we need to understand, like, we have to be able to look at things through another lens that is not ours. For example, people within the diaspora that are American, we need to be able to step outside of the American lens at times and realize that race, especially, didn't work the same way in other parts of the world, particularly within Latin America and the Caribbean. Okay, this is something, I've mentioned a lot of times too. The race here has been all about putting people into a specific box where you could only be one race. That was like the history here. You couldn't be mixed. You had to be white. And if you weren't full on white, you were black. And that was that. But that wasn't the case in other countries. That wasn't the case, for example, in DR. In DR, people don't have a problem identifying with an array of different labels or racial categorizations that refer to different mixtures of black and white and indigenous or whatever. We didn't have the one drop rule and stuff like that. So I think people need to just keep that in mind. And like I said, try to be more understanding to the differences and how different societies formed. With all that being said though, I did receive some positive feedback from that interview and people feeling that I did well. I saw someone commented that, I was brave for even speaking on this stuff because again, it's not easy. And, maybe one day they can bring on another Dominican on that maybe has seen and experienced some more of this anti-black stuff and they can give their experience. At the end of the day, and I've said this before, I can research things and learn things, yes, via, the internet, books, whatever, but most of our reality, most of the way in which we perceive things is based on our personal experiences. And my personal experiences is what has shaped, for the most part, my view of Dominicans. And if people don't like my view, then I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't know. Again, just don't generalize all of us. That's all I can say. So with that being said, that was it for this quick little video. I noticed though, since that interview, I've gained quite a few new subs. So welcome to all of my new subscribers. I hope that you guys enjoy the content that I've made so far and that you guys enjoy the content that I will make. So yeah, so that's it, and I'll check you guys in my next video. Bye.